Hello and welcome to episode 102 of the Women's Rugby League podcast. I'm now joined by
Fern from Warrington Wolves. I'm a prop and I'm sponsored by Synergy Security.
You're an interesting one when it comes to your background in other sports and other things you've done prior to coming to rugby league. So, what was the first sport you were involved with?
So I started playing netball at the age of 8. Always thought I was going to be a professional netballer. Worked very, very hard, and then at the age of 18 I signed my first pro contract. But as you know, wasn't always going to be a full-time role, so I joined the army at 16, so got through my training, and the minute I finished my training, that's when my netball career took off. But I was always in like the age group, the academy age groups in the Netball Super League, and I got my first Wales under-19s cap when I was 15, so I was always going to go the netball route, and luckily I had a very, very successful netball career, and it's kind of given me the fundamentals I needed for rugby league.
So what was it like when you joined? What regiment did you join in the army?
So I joined the Royal Corps. Their advice when I went to the careers office was they're a very big corps, so
Yep.
and there's a lot of opportunities for sports, so I was like, sign me up, let's go. All I wanted to do was play sport and represent the army in that sporting arena. But the more I got used to the army, I realised how much I actually enjoyed the job as well. So I progressed up the ranks in the army quite quickly as well. And my last role in the army was as an instructor. So it was taking recruits through training and teaching them, like basic army skills, like basic soldiering, like weapon handling and drill. And yeah, it's a pretty interesting role, but I started to miss the sporting side of things, so that's why I left the army in October. But yeah, I had an absolutely amazing time in the army as well.
So did you do 8 years in the army?
So it was January 2014 up until October, so about 9 years.
Now 9
overall.
years. That's it. So you must have had the most interesting icebreakers when you first joined. Like, tell us a bit about yourself and just left. Oh yeah, want to be a national netball player. I've already represented Wales.
Yeah, so the army put you under a lot of pressure in that sense. They're like, talk about yourself for 2 minutes, and then you've got some 16-year-olds and like, well, I'm from North Wales and I've got, I don't really do much because I've just left school, but I was quite lucky I could rattle off loads of things that I'd already achieved. It sounds quite big-headed, but I think I had a very driven family. My parents were professional athletes as well, so I was always going to go that road, that kind of route. And it was quite easy to say, when I was 14, I played netball for Wales, and 15, I was under 21s, and I've been here, I've been this country representing my country, and it's kind of, I think when you play sports as well, it gives you that confidence, doesn't it, to kind of speak out in front of people.
That's it. So I keep telling people the opportunities in the armed forces to do sports, especially when you've been at a decent level, are massive, because the sporting culture in the armed forces is huge.
100%. If you've already kind of got that international professional background in sport, the army will support that. And I feel like I'm doing a recruitment ad for them now, but it's true. They will take you on board and support you through if your goals are World Cup, if your goals are Commonwealth Games, Olympics, they will support you, because at the end of the day, the armies are the best. They're the best. So they only want the best.
That's it. You look and go, if you go say the Winter Olympics, how many of the competitors there from the armed forces?
Yeah, I know the army's got a massive winter sport.
Yeah.
And a lot of the guys are over there. I've got a friend who does bobsleigh, and he's over there. He's over in Germany, France, just training all the time, and as well representing the army. One of my recruits actually was Courtney Pursglove, so she was one of my recruits.
Oh no, you got Courtney?
Yeah, she was one of my recruits, and I thought, she's going to go so far in the army, just because she was switched on. You can just sense it from her sporting background. She's just a switched on girl. And I just knew she was going to do well in the army, and now she's flying.
Yeah, she's absolutely killing it.
Yeah, so she was one of my recruits, and then off she went. Now she's absolutely smashing it, and it's really good to see when you've experienced that career, and then you kind of have someone who you see on that pathway. And I know I'm only 25, and then she's only a bit younger than me, but after I've done it, it's nice to see other girls do it as well.
Yeah, because you're there when you, especially when you're helping train through recruitment, and you're seeing people lay their future and their whole career out in front of you over a very small period of time.
Yeah, and it's very rare that you see someone and you think, oh, you're going to go far in the army, or it's very rare you see those like glimpses of you're exceptional, and she was definitely one of them from my point of view. And you know, like there's not many people who have kind of got that drive, and yeah, it's nice to see.
So there was a bit in there you dangled. You said your parents were athletes. What did they do? You can't dangle that in there and not talk about it.
So my mum was a bodybuilder.
Go on.
World's Miss Universe, she's an absolutely insane athlete. And my dad was a powerlifter for Great Britain. So I think my genetics were pretty on point before I was even born, to be honest. So very driven, very just passionate sports people. And my brother played for Warrington in the academy growing up, and now he runs a team in South Wales called Aber Valley Wolves.
Oh, nice. He's still keeping in.
Yeah. So just a massively sport-orientated family, really. And I had a really amazing childhood, and I remember just doing hill sprints at the age of 5. And my parents, they were pushy, but the right amount. And I feel if you don't have that element of push from your parents, then it's really easy to stir off into like the wrong pathways. But they were always firm, but fair with me about sport.
That's amazing. I imagine your trophy cabinet at your house was very, very full with you all growing up.
Yeah, do you know what? It became the norm to have like the BBC News around your house. You know, I just thought that was normal, and you know, to have for my mum's birthday cake one year, she had a roasted turkey with candles in, and I thought that was normal. Like everyone was that healthy, and you know, everyone else said, you know, packet of crisps for primary school dinner, and I had carrot sticks. You know, I just thought that was the norm. But they're just exceptional. My dad was British champ, world champ. My mum's been world champ, European champ, and so they weren't kind of, you know, in the sport. They were
the sport.
They were the best. So.
Wow, that's amazing. Yeah, because you have the right parents with the right attitude towards you. Know, and you go, no, I need to. I don't just want to be a competitor. I want to be the competitor.
Yeah, and that was my dad who'd say, every time I used to go on a netball court, or every time I did stepped into the gym, he was like, don't be good, be the best. Like, don't be good, be the best. And that was always been my motto in life. Like, it's okay to just be there and be on the pitch, be on the court, but you want to be the best on that court, you know, the best you can be.
So that covers army career number 1, netball career number 2. You're on career number 3 and 4 now. So tell us about your normal job.
Yeah, so when I left the army in October, I knew I wanted to go into formal teaching, because that's kind of that's kind of where I thrive, and like coaching and mentoring.
Well, if you've been doing the recruitment, if you've been helping recruits, that is your job anyway. You're a teacher. You are a teacher.
Essentially, I always say in my interviews and stuff, well, I was a teacher, but essentially I was a teacher in the army. And my specialities were sport, obviously, and protective services. So I thought, oh, BTEC, you know, that BTEC college course would be perfect for me. So I started my PGCE in the September, and then just learning and trying to, and that's when I started Warrington in November. So I was kind of like, oh, can I kind of cope with this, a full-time PGCE and playing full-time sport? And then I went for a job interview in February at Cheshire College, literally just for work experience and to kind of understand the teaching interview process. And I got the job, so I was kind of thinking, oh, I don't really want to turn this down because it's an amazing opportunity, but can I handle a full-time PGCE, a full-time lecturing job, and a full-time rugby career? So, and I was like, yeah, go on, why not? So I've literally just finished my PGCE now. I'm graduating in July. And yeah, I love the job. It's so different to the army, whereas I can't be as strict. But I think developing people that are from near your area as well, so like homegrown people, and trying to push them into a service, whether that be police, fire, any armed service. It's just it did amazing things for me. So I try and develop and give the students the opportunities that I had. Because I always say it's amazing just to get away and experience the world and if you don't like it, you can always come home. But I always say to them, just get out the town and see the world. And yeah, it's an amazing career, very rewarding.
That's it. So you've took what you've already learnt. You've gone, I'm going to add to this. You obviously have a clear vision of what you want to do, or kind of to have the foresight. I'm going to go to an interview, not thinking I'm going to get it, just so I learn this process. Mm-hmm. So, but when I'm ready for it, I know what I'm doing. Bang, you get it straight away. So they must have seen something and you've gone, no, she's not ready yet, but she's going to be amazing. We'll having her.
Yeah, I think teaching, and obviously the army, you join and you're in. I joined at 16 as well, so I didn't. Sounds quite silly, but I never really had a proper job interview in my life. So I was nervous, and it's a process where you have to do a teach, you have to have an interview, and it's quite daunting. It's quite scary, and I knew I wanted to do it, but I had doubts in my ability in terms of I'm not academic enough for this. But I think sometimes people will take that chance on you, and the work experience that I had definitely left me in good stead to teach a college course, because at the end of the day, it's more vocational there. Like, I'm not teaching, maths and English, I'm teaching them how to get into an armed force, and I did that for nearly 10 years. So so they took a chance on me, and hopefully I'd like to think I'm doing well.
Sounds like you are. No, absolutely. Training, but you've lived and breathed it, you know what to do. They're probably going to go with it with such an idea and such a foundation in the careers they want to go on.
Yeah. Well, the students,
yeah,
incredible. They come in on their days off, so I can sit there with them and help them do their application forms. And they say, like, since I've come in, they've just been inspired, because there's been teachers in the past, especially in colleges, that haven't actually had that work experience, and they're teaching stuff they haven't lived. And I think as well, I'm quite young to be in this role, so I'm quite relatable in terms of teaching. So, but especially public services, because usually you have someone who's done 22 years in the police, and then they haven't got that kind of banter. Whereas I like to think I've got a good rapport with my students, because they're close to my age, to be honest. Some of them.
I was literally just thinking. Then I was like, oh yeah, you probably have students like 7 years age difference.
Yeah,
probably even less.
21, and I think I'm 25. We were really, really close in age group, and I think I'd like to think that I'm showing them what life could be like.
So how did you go from Celtic Dragons and Team Bath to Warrington Wolves?
Yeah, it sounds a bit mad when you throw it out like that. So Celtic Dragons are the only Welsh team in the Vitality Super League, so I always grew up in their academy, and then I signed my contract for them when I was 18, and they were my team. Celtic Dragons were, because most of us were all Welsh at the time. That was kind of like a family, so I was always going to stay there. And then after doing my knee, I had a bit of time out. Had an operation on my knee, and then I got the opportunity to go to Team Bath, which was incredible, because they're top 4 level team. Absolutely, I learned so much there, and I'm really grateful to them. But I think ultimately it was getting to the point, and I think it was coming for a while, when you played from the age of 14 for Wales, it was like, am I doing this because I enjoy it, or am I doing it because I know no different?
Yeah, he's just there now because you've always been there.
Yeah, and it was after the Commonwealth Games, I remember being there at one point, and this is quite hard to probably say now, and I don't think I've ever really said it in public, but I was like, I'm actually not even happy. Like, I've literally trained my whole life to be in this Gold Coast Commonwealth Games, and I'm sat here and I'm just not really enjoying myself. And that's when I started to realise, I don't want to do this. And it's so hard to admit that, like I've said it before, that the thing you've done your whole life and the thing you love it's not really what you love anymore. And I think as well, like, once you've hit the peak of your sport, like, you think, well, what now? Like, what now? And we came home and finished off the Celtic Dragons season. And I remember just thinking, I'm so unhappy. And I don't know if it was the culture of netball at the time, or I didn't feel like I was progressing as much as I should have been. And I was just, honestly, it was my mental health more than anything that made me stop playing netball. And having that time away, and then I moved up north with the army with my job, and I was kind of like, I just don't want to play anymore. completely lost the love of it, and that's the complete honest truth.
It's hard, but that's life. You're invested. You put so much into something, and then when you think about that, this thing you've worked for forever should be absolutely amazing. It should be the best, and you're like, what have I done this for?
Yeah, and
like,
it was kind of like, this is amazing, and I'm so lucky and amazed to be in this opportunity. But I think it's when you've worked your absolute socks off your whole life, and then you think, now I'm here. It's honestly just it's a what now? It's a what now situation, and I knew that I honestly could see myself doing 3 Commonwealth Games before I went to that one, and I think it had to make a choice. Had to keep. I think as well, it's a status thing. You know, like, I'm Fern. Everyone knows me. I've played netball for Wales. You know, back home in my little Welsh town, everyone's like, "Oh, it's Fern. You know, she's great." And it's like, if I stop playing netball now, are people still going to like me? And it's that kind of weird scenario. Like, I've lost my identity, but I had to make a choice, whether it be happiness or a status, a name. And for me, it was happiness, and that's what I went for. And I think the move to rugby league was probably a bit wild. It was when I moved home from the army. I was still doing my PGCE, and I thrive in a team. Like, I've been in a team my whole life.
You need that camaraderie. You need people to bounce off and yeah.
I was busy with my uni and job and stuff, but I was doing a lot of PT sessions as well to kind of get me through uni. And I was like, I miss the sport. I just miss it. I spoke to my brother and my family, and I was like, I really want to go back to sport, but if I'm going to play sport, I can't just play down the local league. Like, that's just not me. I'd probably be too intense. I was shouting at people for having fun, because I know sport is supposed to be fun, but for me, it's a life. So
yeah.
I'd probably be too intense. And then my brother suggested, why don't you look at rugby league? And I was like, I'm going to play rugby league, Toby. I want to, play low and then build my way up. And then he was like, well, I've had a look around, Fern, at the standard of women's rugby league, and he goes, I know it sounds mad, but I think you could go on there and hold your own. I was like, Toby, I played rugby league like twice for the army for a laugh. I was like, I don't think I'm able to hold my own. I've never even tackled anyone properly. And then it was the story of joining Warrington is so cool. Initially I found them on Facebook and messaged Warrington Wolves rugby football club. Turns out I actually emailed the football club, and they were like, but if you want to come down and play football with us with that background, you can come down if you want. I was like, no, unless it's in goal, I can't kick a ball to save my life. And then I finally got in touch with the Warrington Wolves, the foundation page.
Yeah.
Sent them a message. And then next thing you know, I've got a phone call from Estelle Graham, the team manager. But weirdly enough, Estelle was my Cheshire Netball under 12s coach. And I was like, why is Estelle Graham, who I haven't spoken to since I was 12, calling me?
Yeah.
And I was like, hello? I was like, hello, you all right? She went, they sent a message, Fern. I'm the team manager for Warrington Wolves Women. I was like, you're joking. It was bananas. And then she said, I spoke to Wes and told him all about you. And he said, you can come to training on Friday. I was like, I was only inquiring. I don't know if I actually want to do it. And I went down on a Friday. Everyone was welcoming. And I haven't left since, to be honest.
No, you couldn't have picked a better team where you are, because they've got the free team, 2 other teams beneath them to play into. So they turn around and go, no, you need game time.
Yeah.
You've got a team you can drop down slightly and play in. You've got another team you can drop down again if you need. But with your sporting background, I don't think you need that, because you're a competitor.
Well, they put me on a bit of a trial. Wes said, look, come for a little bit. We'll see how you are with your basic skills, like captain, passing, speed, fitness. And that aspect, I was in. It was just, there was no, we're going to put you in gradually, Like, he put me straight on the mat and wrestling with Georgia Sutherland. And I was like, she's scary.
Yeah.
She's a really strong, powerful girl. So I'd never tackled, I've never wrestled. And it was just, just got to throw myself into it. And I think at first through pre-season, I couldn't fathom in my head all the breakdowns and skills we were doing into a bigger picture. And I kept saying to Wes, I was like, I can do it, but I don't understand how it would work in a game, because I've never played a game. And he said, just stick with it, just do it, just stick with it, and it will come. He goes, trust me, Fern, it will come. And then we played a bit of like a friendly at training. And I was like, okay, I see the structure, I see the shape. And then he said to me, and then we had our first pre-season friendly at Headingley. And he was like, so Fern, I was thinking of putting you in the squad. He goes, what do you think? I was like, don't really know. I said, Wes, I'm obviously going to say yes, but I don't want to let the team down, show myself up, or, you know, let anyone down. But I said, if it was up to me, I'd say, give me the opportunity, stick me on for 5 minutes at the end, and I'll see what I can do. So my first ever game of rugby league was at Headingley Stadium.
Yeah. So
What?
you play Leeds in their first match since the final. So you're already going like your friendly games in a 19,000 seater stadium against
Teams in the league.
Yeah, the second best team in the league and one of the best women's teams of all time with one of the best coaches of all time. And you're like, oh yeah, just so you
Stick me on
for 5. We'll see what happens.
I think. Well, the first thing I did, I played the ball and I didn't even do it properly, and I got give away a penalty. But after that, I kind of just like, oh my god, I think it was quite overwhelming. Made a few good runs. I think I did quite well. You know, it was nice to have all my family there and big rugby league fans. My boyfriend was there with a big Welsh flag, and it was just an amazing moment, I think, of overcoming a bit of a rubbish time and then coming out on the other end. But we played York in the second friendly at home, and then we played Huddersfield in the pre-season friendly, and I've noticed each game I'm improving, and every game now I'm scoring tries. I think my attacking game is good. I think I'm powerful. For a prop, I'm fast, and I've noticed that. And I wasn't expecting to be a prop. Obviously, being a rugby league fan, I thought I'd be more of a centre with kind of my speed because I'm pretty nippy. And when I said you're going to be a prop, I was like, oh no, that's not me. I'm not getting absolutely smashed. But I'm tall. I'm 5'10", and I'm powerful. And I think I don't many props in the league have my leg speed, and I think that's kind of my kind of unique role there.
That's it. If you spend like the previous 9 years constantly being put through fitness and you kept it going, like you say, you were doing your PT and kept yourself, then you've thrown yourself in at top level sport again.
Yeah, so literally we had in England, is it the ERL, the England Rugby League, came down, did our fitness test. You know, and I was finishing in like the top, in the session, I was finishing in the top 3 or 4 in the bleep test, and like, you know, I'm a prop, so you wouldn't expect that in terms of my fitness, but I'm a fit girl, and I think that definitely helps me as a prop. And I just don't. I spoke to a few of the girls after the game, you know, we shaking hands, and they were like, "Oh God, we were absolutely panicking when you were running at us," because I'm lanky and I'm just kind of I'm a bit of a loose cannon at the minute because I'm playing with freedom, and you know, I'm unorthodox because to be honest,
you're still learning. Yeah,
they're like, we see what she's going to do because she's new. When she hasn't really got that game sense yet.
That must be such a bonus for the management coaches at your team. It's like, oh, we've got a prop who can play second row, can play centre if we need him. She's got legs and she's got determination. Like, yeah, that for them must have, like, no wonder to put you in then. No wonder to put you in. Like, they've probably seen and gone, no, we could get her to click properly. Wow, what a player.
I spoke to Wes and I said, am I getting into these match day squads through injury, or am I genuinely getting in through merit? And he's like, Fern, I'm putting you in because I believe in you. And the way you are in training, like the way you are in, like, around the girls, it's just I think because I've been around high performance, he's like, yeah, let's get her on. And I think I've been performing as well, to be honest, and stuff I wouldn't expect. And I have been scoring tries, and yeah, so it's just been a great honour, really. And I think the culture of our club is special, and even in all the netball teams I've been in, I've never been in a team with such passion. The other night we had a really close session of what inspires you, why are you here, and that's just brought us even closer together. And it sounds cringe, but we're definitely a massive family now.
Yeah, I the more I see with you guys and see the facilities you train and the things you've got, the more I'm thinking you're a couple of years away from being a top 4 team easy, because you've definitely training facilities wise, training staff. You've got my boy Matt Heaton down there who is outstanding. The fact that you're getting the food, you've got the top facilities, and you're being looked after properly, and you're being treated like on a pedestal. This weekend, one we need to mention on here right now, the academy team are opening match for the women's team being the main event.
Yeah, 100%. How incredible! I think coming from a netball background where we were on Sky Sports every week, you know, with Wales we had it all. So when I came over to rugby league, I was kind of like, well, why are we not getting paid? Like, why are we not?
Yeah.
And I literally had a conversation with Matt about it on Friday. I was like, what? Like, how are we not getting paid? We're a professional club. And he was like, Fern, if you would have seen women's rugby league,
yep.
you would have been appalled. He's like, where we are now is a step. And I was like, yeah, but we need more. Like, so having the stadium games and things like that is when now we need to work to get those people in to watch, because we have this talent, we have this product, we just need to get people to come and see it now.
That's it. Like, you only need to go back 4 years ago, and everything was unbelievably different.
Yeah, I couldn't believe it. Some of the things that Matt was telling me at training, I was just shocked that women's sport could be, you know, that unsupported. So what I honestly say, Warrington now we've got it all here. We've got nutritionists, we've got a psychologist, and we're really pushing the boundaries now. And I think, yeah, we've got the talent, we've got the skill in terms of players, but there's those little 1%ers now with our nutrition. We've got Matt, we've got a psychologist, what makes us tick. And this is what's going to make us, you know, that top 4 in the future, which is obviously what we're aiming for.
So on the future, what do you want to do? Where do you see yourself going?
So I love the sport. Initially it was for fun. The more I've trained, the more I've played, got more competitive. Like I wanna be one of those players, you know, who everyone knows. But I think my main goal really is stay competitive. I love Warrington. Can't see myself leaving Warrington you know, in the short term or long term, to be honest. Definitely I want to play for Wales. I'm going down to Wales training next weekend. Literally cannot wait. What an amazing opportunity. I don't think many people can say, if I get capped this summer, I am a double international. That's kind of just for me mind-blowing, and something I'd like to tell the grandkids one day. So very passionately Welsh. If someone said to me, we'll pay you £1 million to play for England, never happen. So for me, yeah, absolutely passionately Welsh, and really, really, really can't wait for that. Can't wait for next weekend. But yeah, I think our main goal at Warrington is to push for that Super League 1, and it's something we can definitely do. We've got we're not complacent at all. We've got very, very tough competition in our league as well, and I think that's definitely something we know. So taking it week by week, step by step, and I think a long season like this is a process, and just literally taking it week by week is how we're playing it. So perfect. Yeah, that's it.
Thank you for coming on. Thank you to Matt Heaton for setting this up, and we'll hopefully hear from you very, very soon.
Yeah, hopefully very soon.